the board looked at a variety of options, and we had a long conference Zoom call today going over all those options because, there's so many factors that go into a decision like this, and this is a decision that can't be taken lightly because we have a lot of student athletes and student activity participants, our music kids, that really want to be able to participate this season if possible, and especially our senior athletes and senior music kids. We want to be able to try to give them that opportunity. However, as we look at it, as the board looked at it, we knew that the directive of shelter in place is still going till the 24th. So they said, well, what happens if it goes again? And then how can we be able to provide some opportunity, some kind of, acceptable formats for those kids to participate, whether it's in sports or, a different type of music festival. So they looked at it, and we have some options that we could we will put out there if we're able to get back to school. But those options, we would looked at it and said, really, they must probably be put in place by May 4th, because then we have enough time to still do everything as scheduled. We're not moving a lot of things. Plus, also, there's the difficulty of schools being out, and trying to do the things that they need to do. They're going to be if they do get back, they're going to be so overwhelmed with things that they have to do besides then maybe trying to extend seasons and all that. So that's where the May 4th came, was that, we can get her done, but we have to be back in person instruction on May 4th.
Was cancellation today brought up at all, discussed at all?
It was one of the options. Other states like Wyoming canceled on Monday and Oregon canceled yesterday, but they also canceled school. So our board looked at that, but they were saying, let's keep some hope out there and see what happens. Who knows what'll happen in Montana? So let's just keep it going until we can get to that date where we're not going to be able to have a format that would be, really feasible.
Hope's an interesting term because there's people that still have it, and then there's other people that are mocking the people that still have it. What kind of response are you guys getting? I know this decision is still early, but just over the last couple of weeks and keeping that hope out there.
Well, the thing that I think is important, and our board, some of our board members made some good comments in regard to kids are struggling right now. They're struggling with the online learning, and they're struggling with trying to deal with something that's never happened to any of us. All of us old timers that have been around, we've never been through this. So one of the things that probably is really good is that, if things do change, they do have that hope. It's not all the rug isn't pulled out from under them totally. So thinking about that, I think, is really a good thing. But also, this has some finality to it, too, that everybody knows. If we're not in by May 4th, then spring sports are canceled.
Extending into June or extending beyond the 22nd and 23rd. That 23rd is the final date of scheduled spring. 30th? 29th and 30th, anything into June. I mean, was any of that ever an option? Because then the schools are out, the bus drivers are gone. You're not getting 100% participation, no matter how people, I'm
Right.
sure that people think that, but I just don't think that there's any way you would get 100% participation doing things later
Right.
than what's already scheduled.
Once school's out, it's difficult because not only is it's great because when school's in, they have the transportation, they have the, coaches are under contract, they have the supervision and liability issues that you have to look at. But also then you're pushing it into something else. Well, we're pushing up against, will baseball be able to start? Will softball be able to start? Kids are looking forward to starting their workouts for their sports coming fall. So you're pushing into all of those things. Plus, I think some people are really going to want to take some family vacations this summer. I mean, they've been cooped up and all that. So you have a lot of different things that would be pushing up into that. So that's why we wanted to stay within the time frame or the scheduled time frame that we have now.
Anything else discussed on that call? Any other options that we were looking at besides complete cancellation, postponement, or moving even beyond what's already scheduled?
No, that's pretty much the options that we were looking at. And like I said, had some great discussion on it for sure.
What would you say to those coaches that are out there trying to rally their kids to still go out individually, running around the block if you're in track and field, or maybe hitting the ball back and forth with a brother or sister if you're in tennis, or softball gets a little more challenging, obviously.
Definitely, yeah.
But what's that piece of advice or the conversations that you have with those coaches of ways that they can try to keep these kids ready to go
Sure.
in case we do get ready.
And I don't know if I have great advice for him as a former coach too, because these coaches are great people. I mean, we were very fortunate in Montana to have the coaching that we do and the administrators that we do. So they're doing all that now. They're doing what they need to do. They're trying to keep everything, afloat and in contact with the kids that they can, through social media and through their different things. So I know they're working with them and are sharing with them what, some positive things and all that. So just continue on.
April 24th, if the governor comes out 24th, 23rd, 22nd, whatever, and says, hey, we've got to extend this another 2 weeks, do you guys make a decision then, or are we still waiting to see, okay, May 4th is still in play?
Yep. If we're not in school May 4th, spring activities are canceled.
In your chats with the Department of Health here and the governor's office and stuff, because they're going on these same 2 week increments that you guys are. So the 24th to May 4th, look at that, 2 weeks. So I mean,
Right.
would that be the extension? Would be to May 4th, probably?
Yeah, if we're not in school by that time, May 4th, then the board has directed that we will cancel all spring activities. Knowing what the governor's going to do, I think the governor, the state health department they've done a great job in dealing with this. Of course, I mean that's in some tough tough positions and situations, but they're doing a great job. But we really do value, as I said in my press release, the directives from the governor, the state health department, the CDC, and so we're gonna align with them there. So.
I'm assuming if we were allowed back in school, that would also eliminate the gatherings of 10 or 15 or whatever, to where a track meet, a softball game, whatever else would fall into those guidelines, correct?
Well, it'd be an interesting thing if we do get back. Then what will the guidelines be at the time? So we're ready for that too. We're always prepared. So that will we be able to take a bus with 40 on a bus? Or are they going to be able to have to split and take 2 buses, and spread them out? Will we be able to even have fans? With the social distancing guidelines or requirements that'll be in place at the time. But we're looking at all that. We want to make sure that we're ready for that too, and be able to say, here's what we're going to do at that time.
May 4th is a Monday, so that would allow 5 practices before the first postseason scheduled event. Or they might have to move them, I guess, to that weekend, right? If you need to get 5 practices under these new.
Right, and there could be some waivers there that we're going to talk about. For example, practice on Sunday to allow, we don't now, practice twice a day if they want to come in the morning. These are nice mornings, or hopefully we'll have nice mornings, and do an afternoon practice, and then so they can go 7 days. That'll be discussed if we're going to get back. That's not any kind of final action on that. But they will have to have 5 practices in. And then we can there's about a week there to play with some kind of different formats and those kind of things. State golf, state tennis is a little different, but we may move those. That's a big possibility, but we'll move them within the time frame and within the scheduled events that we have right now.
Districts that, like district track meets, could those be gone completely and taking people all the way to the divisionals? I mean, is that it?
They could be, yeah, because we have qualifying standards there for sure.
People might not know you guys are working from home just like the rest of us.
Yeah, we are. It's an interesting way to work, that's for sure. But it's amazing how I didn't realize how important internet access is. And I was talking to an administrator earlier, and it's really tough for kids. There's a lot of kids that don't have that internet access. In fact, I even heard today that some kids are driving to the school and sitting in their car getting the access from the school so that they can complete their studies and all that. But it's amazing. We've been able to continue to work and get things done and do all that, but it's amazing what technology can do, but then lack of it can also cause some problems.